almost anything that used to be secret can now be made visible. You know, it's very easy now. There's a website that will tell you which, climate change experts, skeptics, are in the pay of oil companies. Right? You can go online and find it out in a minute. And William Gibson, I think, really hits the nail on the head here when he says this, that it is becoming unprecedentedly difficult for anyone at all, to keep a secret. In the age of the leak and of blogs, of evidence extraction and link discovery, truths will either out or be outed, later if not sooner. This is something I would bring to the attention of every diplomat, politician, and corporate leader. The future eventually will find you out. The future will have its way with you. In the end, you will be seen to have done that which you did. It's really, I think, potentially the most powerful tool that we have as people who care about the planet, is the fact that we can now tell people the backstory of what's happening in their lives. We can tell them where the things in their lives came from, who made them, what effects were caused. When they're good, they're easy stories to tell, right? This is a Green and Black's chocolate bar wrapper that has been designed to show that Green and Black's has a very good, easy to tell backstory. When they're bad, knowing how to rip the cover off and tell the backstory allows us leverage, because there's a lot of backstories people don't want to hear. And greenwashing, if you think about it, is all about covering up a really bad backstory with a thin veneer of ecological concern. And we are now realizing that there are tools for ripping that ripping that greenwashing apart in very, very easy ways. And in fact, people are getting really eager to decool brands that have bad backstories. So there's the site FUH2, a really popular site where people post pictures of themselves flipping off Hummers. And thousands of people post pictures of themselves flipping off Hummers, right? There are thousands of people out there who are committed to the idea of making people who own Hummers, a car with probably the worst backstory we can imagine, feel bad about themselves. And that's a good thing for everybody. However, ultimately, we need to move a little farther, and we need to start getting good at telling stories about the stuff that's in our lives that makes it clear when we're not getting what we're paying for, and helps us get real about the kind of stuff and experiences that actually make us happy, and separate that out from what we're being told in an era of vertical emulation is what we should be pursuing. There was a point where it was enough to just own a television, right? Now we've got to have a home theater. There was a point when flying first class was luxurious. Now you have to be flying in a private jet if you really want to show you're someone. Taken to its logical conclusion, really, if you want to be somebody, you better have a private flying home theater. And there's something really wrong here. And the biggest thing that's wrong is that we're not having fun. People in America are working longer hours, spending less time with fewer friends, and reporting more depression, lifestyle illnesses, stress, fear. There's something really, really fundamentally wrong with the model of prosperity that we're being sold, because it doesn't work. And I think that what those of us in this room and those of us in this movement are trying to do is reinvent a prosperity that, in the process of saving the planet, is actually going to deliver a better life for us. I think that we have to imagine a world where we're offering people not just a future, but the good life. And the good life is not about wearing a hair shirt and living in a cave, and it's not about flying home theaters, right? It's about knowing that the stuff we have is fun and it works well and it meets real needs. That we have things that facilitate the kinds of experiences we all report wanting. And for some people, this may be the simple life. I don't think it is the simple life, right? I think it is the well-designed, intelligently thought-through, appropriate life. And, we can provide a life for each person on the planet, for every person on the planet, that meets all their basic material needs and meets their higher aspirations within that one planet footprint. We know that it's possible. Nothing prevents us in the laws of physics, right? All that prevents us is that we haven't yet imagined what it would really be like. And we can't build what we can't imagine. If we're going to have a sustainable future, we need not just a political movement, but a movement of the mind. You know, we need activism that's about the imagination. We need millions of people being creative and going out and trying to imagine better futures and share them and convince people and get them in turn to imagine better futures. We need to infect lots of people with changed thinking if we're actually going to have a chance of changing the world in the kind of way that we want. And ultimately, that's not my job. That's all of our jobs. You know, and so I'll just leave you with a quote from Paul Hawken that I think sums it all up, which is, "You are brilliant, and the earth is hiring." Thank you very much.